Grammar 1, Lecture 8, the last lecture. Agreement with the verb. 1. Number 1, the verb must agree with the subject in number. Here we have some examples. The girl is resting. The girls are resting. The girl is a singular verb. It agrees with the verb. So the girl is a singular verb that agrees with the singular subject, the girl. The girls are resting. So the girl is a plural. It agrees with verb to be are. The girls are resting. Number 2, if the subject includes modifiers, the subject agrees with the non-head in the subject. Examples: his technique for solving crimes is very simple. So his technique is the subject for solving crimes, modifier that modify the subject, his or technique here. So his technique is a singular noun. It agrees with the verb is. The advertisements in front part of a newspaper are usually the most expensive. So the advertisements here, subject, plural noun, in front page of a newspaper, these words modify the subject advertisements. So the subject advertisements, which is plural, agrees with the verb are, which is plural also. Number 3, an uncountable noun used as a subject requires a singular verb. So uncountable nouns take a singular verb. We say water is colorless. For example, money is important to life. Here we have examples here. His baggage was lost yesterday. Baggage, luggage, all these words are uncountable, and his luggage takes singular verb was. The past of verb to be was with I, he, she, it. So his luggage means it here, so it takes singular verb was. His baggage was lost yesterday. So baggage is uncountable noun, so that it takes a singular verb. This information is correct. Also, noun information is uncountable noun. So it takes a singular verb is. So information, advice, homework, abstract nouns also are uncountable nouns. Beauty, love, honesty, pity, all these words are abstract and they are treated as uncountable nouns and they take a singular verb. So again, number 3, uncountable noun used as a subject requires or takes a singular verb. His baggage was lost yesterday. This information is correct. Number 4, a collective noun used as a subject generally occurs with a singular verb in American English, unless emphasis is to be placed on the individual members of the collective unit. Here we have examples. The committee has been preparing a new proposal. In the first one, the committee has been. The committee takes a singular verb. A singular verb. It's because it's a collective noun. But in the second one, with the same words, we can say also the committee have been preparing a new proposal. Here the committee takes a plural verb. Why? Because here there is an emphasis on the individual members of the collective unit committee. Of the collective members of the collective unit committee. So, collective nouns, the rule says that collective nouns take a singular verb. The rule that say that they take a singular verb. But there is an exception here. Unless emphasis is to be placed on the individual members of the collective unit. So, when the emphasis is to be placed on the individual members of the collective unit, in this case, collective nouns take plural verb. So we can say the committee has been preparing a new proposal, and we can say the committee have been preparing a new proposal. So here we have an exercise. Underline the entire subject of each sentence and the word that the verb agrees with. Then fill the proper form of the verb. Use only the present tense. Number 1. I have already answered the exercise to help you understand the lessons. Very good. Number 1, the amount of the space between the lines depends on the size of the story. So the underlined word is the amount of the space between the lines is the entire subject of the sentence. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you can say that subject consists of 8 words. It's a long one. So all these words that were underlined comprise the entire subject of the sentence. The word written in bold space is the subject that agrees with the verb. So the amount of the space is uncountable noun. So that it takes a singular verb, depends on the size of the story. So space is the subject. The amount of is the modifier of. They modify the noun space. Between the lines also modify the noun space. So space is uncountable noun, so that it takes a singular verb, depends, present simple tense. We know that when we form present simple tense, a verb takes an S with the third person singular he, she, it. So space it. So verb depend takes an S. So we say the amount of the space. The amount of the space between the lines depends on the size of the story. Number 2. The rays of the sun shine on all. So the entire subject, the rays of the sun. The word that is the subject, rays, which is a plural. So rays, because it's a plural noun, it agrees with verb shine. The tense is in the present simple tense. So present simple tense with pronouns I, you, we, they. Verb is ordinary verbs like shine, like depend, like write, speak. With I, you, we, they keep their infinitive form. So the rays of the sun, rays is the subject, the is the definite article modifies rays of the sun, also modifiers of the rays. So the rays of the sun shine on all. Rays plural agrees with the verb shine. A little knowledge is a dangerous thing. A little knowledge is a dangerous thing. A little knowledge is the subject, but knowledge, which was written in bold, is the subject. Knowledge is uncountable noun, so it takes a singular verb is. His method of doing things, you can see that his method of doing things, these words were underlined because they are the entire subject of the sentence, but his method, which was written in bold, is the subject. It's a singular noun, so it agrees with verb is, which is singular. An overuse of slang words. An overuse of slang words mark a person as uneducated. So an overuse of slang words, it's the entire subject. Words is the subject, plural, so that it takes a plural verb. It takes a plural verb. Some members in the committee are absent. Some members in the committee are absent. So some members in the committee is the entire subject, but the subject some members, plural, so it agrees with verb are. The public is invited to attend the meeting. The underlined word is the public, is the entire subject, so the public is the uncountable noun, so it takes a singular verb is. The singing of the birds awakens me every morning. So the singing of the birds, which was underlined, is the entire subject. The singing is the subject. The singing is uncountable noun, so it takes a singular verb awakens with S of the third person singular in present simple tense. Number 9, many people on the ship are getting seasick from the violent waves. So many people on the ship, These underlined words are the entire subject. Many people is the subject, is the word that agrees with verb are. Number 10, the police are patrolling that area very carefully. The police, noun police, always plural. So the police are, so it agrees with verb are, plural verb are. The front page articles, the front page articles in that newspaper usually consists of news about international events. So the front page is the subject, it's singular, it agrees with verb consists. The clothing on these racks is being put on sale tomorrow. The clothing on these racks is being, so the clothing on these racks is the subject. The word agrees with the verb the clothing, which is uncountable. It takes a singular verb is. Number 12. No frozen poultry is sold in this store. No frozen poultry is the subject. The word agrees with the verb poultry. Poultry is a noun that agrees, uncountable noun agrees with verb is. Uncountable noun take a singular verb. Number 14, a sound knowledge of mathematics is required for this kind of work. So a sound knowledge of mathematics is the entire subject. A sound knowledge is the word agrees with verb is. Knowledge is uncountable noun. So it take a singular verb is. 14. The number of people who understand Einstein's theory of relativity is very small. So be careful here. Between practices there is a rule. The number is usually singular. When we say the number of people, we say the number of people is increasing. The number of car is decreasing, for example. So the number is, but a number of are. So the number is usually a singular, a number plural. So number 15, a number of people are. While number 14, the number of people who understand Einstein's theory of relativity is. So the number of people agrees with the singular verb is, while a number of people in number 15 agrees with the plural verb are waiting at the airport to greet the movie star. So be careful to this rule. Here, agreement with the verb to. Nouns ending in S. So, some nouns ending in S may cause problems in agreement. Number 1. Some are singular uncountable nouns. News, measles. Measles here, name of a disease. Economics, physics, mathematics, name of a field of study. So, here, Some nouns ending in S may cause a problem in agreement. Some are singular, uncountable nouns. Some are singular, uncountable nouns. News, measles, names of diseases. So these names should be singular. The news about the war is not good. So we say the news is not good. The information is important. Physics is a difficult subject. And so on. So, an example. The news about the war is not good. Physics is a difficult subject. The name used for a field of the study may be plural if it refers to a particular matter. An example, the acoustics in this room are not good. So you can say the acoustics, which ends in S. It's a field of study, but it agrees with the verb and takes a plural verb. Why? Because it refers to a particular matter. It refers to a particular matter. Number 2, some nouns some nouns have the same form for singular or plural. Serious, means, species. So they have the same form for singular or plural. Some nouns are plural only and require plural verbs. Brains, riches, goods, clothes. So these words are plural and they take plural verb. So included in this group of plural are nouns signifying two parts or two-part objects. Scissors, trousers, eyeglasses. A few nouns of this type are sometimes also used with singular verbs. Headquarters, barracks. So nouns consists of two-part objects like scissors, trousers, pajamas, eyeglasses or glasses, gloves. They take plural verb. Here there is an exception. Two nouns that consist of two-part things, but they take a singular verb. Headquarters, barracks. Number 4. Nouns representing quantities and amounts that are considered as one unit are singular. $5, 3 quarts. An example, $5 is too much to pay for that pen. So when you look at $5, you say that it's a plural noun. Why does it take a singular verb is? Here, these nouns, $5, represent an amount of money, but it is considered as one unit, here, so it takes singular verb. It is considered as one unit, so that it takes a singular verb. A singular verb. $5 is too much to pay for that pen. Now here we have an exercise. Underline the correct form of the verb. Mathematics. Here we have has and have. Here I have already answered. The underlined words are the correct answer. Mathematics has never been my favorite subject. So mathematics agrees with verb has. It takes a singular verb because a field of study takes a singular verb. Mathematics has never been my favorite subject. Physics has never been my favorite subjects. For example, history is my favorite subject, for example. Number 2, the news printed in that paper is, the correct answer is, singular verb is, never occurred. The news printed in that paper is never occurred. Why? Because news is the subject. News is uncountable noun, so uncountable noun takes a singular verb. Number 3, a second series of books on American literature is a second series. So, a second series of books, here a second series is referred as a unit, so that it takes a singular verb is. So a second series of books on American literature is being planned by the publisher. Number 4, there is or are, but the correct answer are, there are several means of accomplishing out purpose. So here, several means, this means that a plural noun, so it should take plural verb. Number 5, the scissors were here a few minutes ago. So the scissors is the subject and it's a noun, consists of two part objects, so that it takes a plural verb. So we say the scissors were here a few minutes ago. Number 6, billiards are my favorite game. Billiards are my favorite game. 2 gallons of paint. 2 gallons of paint are all we need. Paint is an uncountable noun, but it becomes countable because it was preceded with a measurement 2 gallons, which shows plural, so that 2 gallons of paint are all we need. There is a rule here. We can make uncountable noun into countable nouns by preceding them with measurements. Like number 7. Number 8. The goods are shipped yesterday. So goods, take goods, clothes, brains, all these nouns take a plural verb. So we say the goods are, not is. I know that goods is an uncountable noun, but here we have a rule says that brains, goods, clothes, all these words are uncountable and they take a plural verb. So the goods are shipped yesterday. Athletics, number 9, athletics has always been emphasized in this school. Athletics is a subject of field, subject in school. It takes a singular verb, has. Number 10, the mumps, it's a name of disease. Names of diseases in this NS take singular verb. So the mumps causes a swelling in the glands below the ears. Number 11, 10 minutes. 10 minutes is too short a time to finish this test. So 10 minutes here is referred to as a unit, so that it takes a singular verb. Like $5 is too expensive here. $5 is too much to pay for that pen. So here nouns represent the quantities and amounts that are considered as one unit are singular. $5, 3/4, 10 minutes. So here we use a singular verb. So 10 minutes is too short a time to finish this test. Now we have another lesson, direct and indirect object. An object can be direct and indirect. We have some transitive verbs that they take two objects. Here we have an example. Henry gave Emma some flowers. Henry subject, gave verb, Emma indirect object. The person receiving something is indirect object. Some flowers, the direct object. The thing that is given is the direct object. So here the verb give has two objects. It's a transitive verb. Emma is the indirect object, the person receiving something. Some flowers is the direct object, the thing that someone gives. Look at the second exercise. Henry gave some flowers to Emma. Here we exchange the direct and indirect object, their position. It was exchanged. So Henry subject, gave verb, some flowers direct object, and here we have two preposition and the indirect object Emma. Here verb give has a direct object, some flowers, and a phrase with to. To comes before Emma, the person receiving something. Here are some examples of the two structures. Emma gave Rachel a CD. Emma subject, gave verb, Rachel indirect object, a CD direct object. I'll send my cousin a postcard. I subject, I'll send verb, my cousin indirect object, a postcard direct object. The direct object. We bought all the children an ice cream. We subject, bought verb, all the children indirect object, an ice cream the direct object. So Emma gave the CD to Rachel. So when the direct object comes before indirect object, we need to use preposition to or for. So Emma gave the CD to Rachel. I'll send a postcard to my cousin. We bought ice cream for all the children. So when the direct object comes before the indirect object, we need to use either preposition to or for. To or for. We give something to someone and we buy something for someone. Sorry for the mistake. For someone. We give something to someone and we buy something for someone. We give something to someone and buy something for someone. For someone. I repeat it again. We can use to with these verbs. So preposition to is used with the following verbs: bring, feed, give, hand, lend, offer, owe, pass, pay, post, promise, read, sell, send, show, take, teach, tell, through, write. So all these verbs we use to with them. We use preposition to with them. Examples: Vicky paid the money to the cashier, or Vicky paid the cashier the money. So Vicky paid the money. When the direct object comes before the indirect object, we use the preposition to. Vicky subject, paid verb, the money the direct object, to is the preposition, the cashier the indirect object. But when we say Vicky paid the cashier, the indirect object comes before the direct object. No preposition is required here. So we say Vicky paid the cashier the money. Number 2, let me read this news item for you, or let me read you this news item. So let, verb, let me, here me, subject, object pronoun, read, verb, this news, direct object, this news item, direct object, to preposition you, indirect object. Number 3, we showed the photos to David, or we showed David the photos. We can use for with these verbs. So we use preposition for with the following verbs: book, bring, build, buy, choose, cook, fetch, find, get, leave, make, order, pick, reserve, save. Here we have an exercise. Here we have direct and indirect object exercise. Write the information in one sentence. Put the underlined part at the end of the sentence. Number 1, Daniel lent something to Vicky. It was his calculator. You can see that his calculator underlined. So the question says write the information in one sentence, put the underlined part at the end of the sentence. So you should put his calculator at the end of the sentence. Of course, as the previous slides, as the previous exercise, I have already answered them. Daniel lented Vicky his calculator. So Daniel subject, lent verb, Vicky indirect object, his calculator direct object. So this is the answer of number 1. Daniel lent Vicky his calculator. You can see that we put his calculator, the underlined word is at the end of the answer. Number 2. Mark sent a message. It was to his boss. So the underlined word, his boss, which should be at the end of the sentence. Mark sent a message to his post. To his post. So here, Mark subject, sent verb, a message, a direct object. To is a preposition to here because we have verb sent. When we have verb sent and the direct object precedes the indirect object, we must use preposition to, not for. So we say Mark sent a message to his boss. Emma sold her bike. Her sister bought it. So the underlined word her sister, which should be at the end of the sentence of the answer. Emma sold her bike to her sister. To her sister. Asma gave some help. So the underlined word some help. She helped her neighbor. So Asma gave some help to her neighbor. Asma gave some help to her neighbor. Ilona wrote to her teacher. She wrote a letter. So you can see a letter is the underlined word which should be at the end of the sentence. Ilona wrote Ilona wrote her teacher a letter. Ilona wrote her teacher a letter. Now direct and indirect object exercise, put in 2 or 4. You can see the answers that are words which were underlined and written in bold. Number 1, give these papers to my secretary. Number 2, could you make some coffee for us? Number 3, book a flight for me. 4, can you post this check for the hotel? 5, don't show these plans to anyone. Number 6, leave a message for my secretary. 7, fetch the file for me. Number 8, write a memo to all managers. Here, question tags. Question tags. These are short additions to sentences asking for agreement or confirmation. So, question tags are short additions to sentence asking for agreement or confirmation. Number 1, after negative statements, we use the ordinary interrogative. Examples: you didn't see him, did you? So here, you didn't see him, did you? If the statement is negative, the tag should be affirmative. If the sentence affirmative, the tag should be negative. So you didn't see him, did you? So did you is asking for agreement or confirmation. It's not a question to get information here. Asking for agreement or confirmation. Anne can't swim. Can she? That's Tom. Isn't it? Isn't it? Is should be negative here, not positive. Isn't it? After affirmative statements, we use the negative interrogative. Peter helped you, didn't he? Mary was there, wasn't she? So here, in these examples, Peter helped you, Mary was there, we have affirmative statements, so you can see that the tag is negative. Peter helped you, didn't he? Mary was there, wasn't she? Negative verbs in the tags are usually contracted. Aren't. For example, here, isn't, wasn't, won't. So irregular, I am late. Here we have exceptions. We have exceptions here. I am late. We don't say, amn't I? It's wrong. We should say, aren't I? It's an exception. Let's has the tag. Let's has the tag shall. Let's has the tag shall. Let's go. Shall we? Let's go. Shall we? So let's has the tag shall. Let's go. Shall we? They are exceptions. Be careful to them. The subject of the tag is always a pronoun. So the subject of the tag is always pronoun. Examples of questions tags after negative statements. Peter doesn't smoke, does he? Anne isn't studying music, is she? Bill didn't want to go, did he? James wasn't driving the car, was he? Note that statements containing words such as neither, no, adjectives, none, no one, nobody, nothing, hardly, etc. are treated as negative statements and followed by ordinary interrogative tags. No salt is allowed. Is it? So no salt, it's a negative. It's negative. So is it is a positive tag. So again, the statement containing words such as neither, no, none, no one, nobody, nothing, hardly, all these mean that the sentence is a negative, are treated as negative statements and followed by ordinary interrogative tag. So, no salt is allowed, is it? Nothing was said, was it? Peter hardly ever goes to parties, does he? When the subject of the sentence is anyone, anybody, no one, nobody, none, neither, we use the pronoun they as subject of the tags. I don't suppose anyone will volunteer, will they? I don't suppose anyone will volunteer, will they? So anyone, no one, anybody, instead of them, we use the pronoun they. No one would object, would they? No one would object, would they? Neither of them complained, Did they? Neither of them complained. Did they? So, question tags. Again here we have question tags after affirmative statements. With the simple present tense we use doesn't, don't in the tags. With the simple past tense we use didn't. Examples: Edward lives by herself. Edward lives by himself, doesn't he? You found your passport, didn't you? All the other tenses were just put the auxiliary verb into the negative interrogative. Mary's coming tomorrow, isn't she? Peter's heard the news, hasn't he? Remember that apostrophe S is or has, and apostrophe D had or would. Peter written before you phoned, hadn't he? Mary'd come if you asked her, wouldn't she? So here apostrophe D number Peter apostrophe D here had, because verb written is in the past participle. This means that the tense is past perfect. But Mary apostrophe D would. Why? Because come is in the infinitive. Sorry for this, but here come, it can be the past participle also, because come is a regular verb. Come, came, come. So, but here we regard it as verb would. It can be would. So Mary would come if you asked her. So wouldn't she? Here the meaning of the sentence gives the meaning of the future, so apostrophe D is would, not had. The boys had rather go by air, wouldn't they? So apostrophe D is would, because verb go is in the infinitive. Read the situation and write a sentence with a question tag. In each situation you are asking your friend to agree with you. Number 1. You look out of the window. The sky is blue and the sun is shining. What do you say to your friend? Between practices, nice day. It's a nice day, isn't it? It's the answer. The answer is written in bold. So the exercise, all exercises were answered. I have answered them for you to make them more easy and clear. Number 2. You are with a friend outside a restaurant. You are looking at the prices, which are very high. What do you say? Between practices, expensive. So it's very expensive, isn't it? So it is very expensive, isn't it? It's the answer. Number 3. You and a friend are listening to a woman singing. You like her voice very much. What do you say to your friend? Between practices, a good voice. She has a good voice, doesn't she? She has a good voice, doesn't she? The end. So I wish you good luck in your exams, and we are going to have online lectures in the few days, maybe tomorrow or after tomorrow. Goodbye. See you in the exam.